and welcome to episode 5 of Two Guys, Zero Planners. Once again, joining me this very early morning is Urban. How you doing, Urban?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Well, doing pretty good. It decided to go from an average temperature of 65 degrees down to like 34.
Which is, let me check.
Yeah, you may want to convert that into normal measurements.
34. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a bit more here still. At least, I think yesterday it was almost 70.
Wow.
But then in the morning it's like, 40 or something.
Yeah, I had to break out real clothing for a change.
Yeah.
Oh no. It feels like here in Oklahoma we go from summer to winter with absolutely nothing resembling a fall.
Yeah, normally we have a fall. This year it's sort of, we didn't have one yet, and it's probably not happening. I don't know.
Well, before we get started, I'd like to thank Ron and the fine folks over at Penchalet for partnering up with us to provide some really good deals for our listeners. Head on over to penchalet.com, click on the podcast link at the top of the page, and use the code 2GUYS for some great deals and site-wide savings. So head on over to Penchalet, where you can get great service, fast free shipping on orders over $50 in the US, and participate in our ink awards program. There, you can get points with each purchase towards a free bottle of ink. And on the 24th of every month, it's 2-for-1 ink points. So thank you to Ron and Penchalet for being an amazing sponsor of Two Guys, Zero Planners and all of Floor 3 Media.
Yeah, that Opus 88. I mean, at that price, it almost, if there weren't the big hassle with customs here, it would almost make sense, even for me to buy it.
Well, you've got Jim heading out to Paris soon. You could always have him mule you a couple.
Yeah, well, I bought so many pens recently. Maybe not. It's not like the Chinese pens that just disappear after 1 year of production anyway.
How many new pens do you have this week?
None.
Whoa.
Well, I have one coming, but it's coming. It's not there yet, so I have to talk about it next time.
Yeah, I don't have my Snowflake yet, so we're still waiting on that.
Yeah, mine's a pen BBS as well. It's the double-sided one.
I may actually have to try that one at some point.
Yeah, now that they don't they're not out of stock after 10 minutes or so, I decided to buy it as well.
So how are you liking the Confucius?
It is a fun pen. So I've inked it up now. I've almost gone through the second converter already because obviously there's a lot of ink coming out. It was a bit dry in the beginning, but luckily I was able to fix it. Yeah, it's probably not a pen you would write with for a long time because it's very, very heavy. It has a shiny metal section which gets slippery quickly. But yeah, to write sort of, I don't know. I use it for in my bullet journal or in my normal journal to sort of write the date, and then you write it really big. And then for that, it's great. Otherwise, I'm unsure. I mean, apparently it's a standard number 6 nib. You just have to find a pen that has a cap that's big enough. Maybe I'll try to put it in one of the pen BBS pens or something.
I mean, if you want to call a Fude music nib normal, I mean, I'm looking at your writing sample on Instagram, and like you were saying, you kind of have to write slow so it doesn't completely run dry.
Yeah, what picture is it?
It's the one where you've got the pocket rodeo pad.
Yeah, but that's where I hadn't adjusted it yet. So by now you can just write fast and it's fine.
Oh, okay. So you got that fixed.
Yeah. So I did what you normally don't do with a nib. You just press hard on the paper, spread the tiny bit, and then it was fine.
Ow. Okay. I'm going to ignore you said that.
Yeah, because I don't know how do you sort of I mean, it's 3 times, so it's even more difficult to keep stuff aligned. So it seemed like the best approach to me.
I mean, as long as it works.
Yeah, now it works.
Pretty much other than the pen BBS, I've only got one new pen, maybe new pen. I don't know if I own it yet.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah. Dr. Brownie over on Pens and Friends and over on the Not Another Pen podcast, he picked up a 1979 Pilot Elite for like $30 or something on eBay. And he was going to fix it up, turn it around, sell it. And
sorry, I'm just Googling Pilot Elite and I get cars.
Yeah, it's kind of weird when you do that. But he sent me the pen. He's like, well, hey, do you want to go ahead and and review it for the Inkwell YouTube channel. And I was like, sure, why not? It'd be fun. So he didn't have time to clean the pen. I mean, literally, it came in, and the next day he was shipping it to me so I could go ahead, clean it up, and review it. I think it may have had the original cartridge in it. I mean, I know that's not the case, but still, that cartridge was, the ink was so caked up and dried on the feed that I had to use pliers to get the cartridge out.
Yeah, these pilot cartridges, they sort of wrap around the feed, right? So there's a lot of...
Yeah, they've got the wraparound on the one side.
Yeah.
It was a nightmare. It took a solid 2 hours of alternating between dish soap and pen flush and an ultrasonic.
Oh, wow.
To degunk it enough to where it would actually start flowing again. But herein lies the problem. Once I got it writing, I found out that I actually love this pen.
Yeah, it's one of those.
It's slightly larger than the Kaweco, capped and uncapped.
Yeah. I like pocket pens, so that's been on my radar for a while as well. Yeah.
This one wasn't on my radar at all till I actually started using it and writing with it. It's got a 14 karat broad nib, and it's a soft broad.
That sounds great, yeah.
It goes from your typical like Japanese broad, which feels like a medium, to like almost an American broad, like halfway between an American broad and double broad. Well, I say American, more like European. I started writing with it, and I've been writing with it all week, and I have a strange feeling I may end up not returning the pen. I mean, I still have to do the video on it this week, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Speaking of videos, I guess now's as good a time as any to announce the winner of the sample vial for the Marzon ink. Hey, Urban, guess what? Yeah. So I put all the entries into a spreadsheet and then used random.org to go ahead and do the random number generator thing. It picked your name 4 times in a row.
4 times in a row. That is
4 times in a row.
I mean, it is random, so it can happen. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, it randomly wanted you to win, which now I guess I get to see how much shipping from Oklahoma to Germany is.
I guess so, yeah.
Oh, that should be fun. I mean, you did say you had some pens coming my way next letter, so I guess you'll have a sample vial of ink heading your way when I respond to the letter that you wrote me.
Yeah, but this letter should arrive soon, and that's the previous letter, I think. Yeah, it's weird. So I don't know why, but shipping in Germany is pretty cheap, even abroad, and basically cheaper than any other Western country. And it's always easy for me to ship out stuff, but for other people to ship stuff to me is ridiculously expensive. I don't know why.
I've never really understood that either. I mean, honestly, with the advent of like UPS, DHL, and FedEx, why can't we all just get a universal rate calculator at this point? I mean, I know there's economic reasons why people that are listening to this put down your Twitter feeds and your Slack channels. Don't complain. I already know the economics. But still.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brownie's not getting that pen back.
So you went from maybe keeping it to a definite in 10 minutes now? Or
I've had the pen for about 5 days. I mean, it's been slowly creeping in. Slowly. So you've been writing some more with the Leuchtturm.
Yeah, I said it's pretty good with fountain pens last time, and well, it is, but somehow it is weird paper. So on the one hand, it is not really thin like Tomorrow River, but on the other hand, if you write with fountain pens in it, you still only want to use the one side because the show through is pretty high. So now I'm sort of going back to pencils sometimes, at least for the first side of a page, because somehow this is more distracting than on Tomoe River. I don't know why. It's really weird.
I don't write on the back side of a page, so I guess for me it's no big deal.
I don't know, but on the other hand, I can use my pencils now as well. That's also nice.
Okay, so for a person that's not a pencil person, because I don't use pencil except for like maybe when I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons, I'll use pencil.
Yeah.
But I mean, how does one get a non-pencil person into pencils?
I don't even know how and why I started. Yeah, it's probably the fault of the pen addicts, like as always. But yeah, I was just curious to see, and then I think I ended up getting a box of Blackwing pencils, and then that was it, I guess. I mean, they're sort of the high end pencils. They're you can tell they're really well made. They don't splinter when you sharpen them, and they're fairly dark because the cores are pretty soft. I guess they're a bit closer to the experience of writing with fountain pens because you don't have to put so much pressure on it. And then you sort of start and you look around and then you see, hey, now I spent $5 on 12 pencils. Hey, that's pretty cheap. Let's just try it. And then
I'm wondering how long they would last with me, though. I mean, you've seen how heavy-handed I am.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is there actually a pencil for a heavy-handed person?
Yeah, there's a grade of hardness for pencils, right? So I like softer ones, and then because I don't put it down that much pressure, and I like it to be dark. But there's also pencils which are fairly hard, so you basically only see something if you put on enough pressure. So
I mean, I know on the Slack channel they were talking about like the different hardnesses and whatnot. And I guess they were saying Brad is pretty heavy-handed as well because he snaps lead on pencils that he shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm with pencils, I'm heavy-handed enough that I actually bend the pencil.
How is that even possible?
I don't know. I mean, in junior high and high school, you could always tell which pencil was mine in a group of pencils based off of how curved it was.
Yeah, I don't know if this is you being heavy-handed or it's just a bad pencil. I don't know.
It was a Bic pencil, so it was probably the pencil.
I mean, there's weird pencils that are not made of wood, right? They're basically made of plastic, and I could see those bending.
I could never use those. Those were just way too slippery for me. Even like mechanical pencils that have all the grip sections, like the molded grip sections on them and everything. The grip sections just feel horrible. Which Jinhao is it? The 450 or the
450.
Yeah, the one that's got that rubberized triangle grip on it.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Yeah. The worst thing I ever found with that pen was the grip reminded me too much of pencils.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else about that pen looked nice, but it just reminded me way too much of pencils. And it's like, nope, can't keep it. That and ink kept getting stuck in the section.
Well, they are all Chinese pens, so sometimes you get a bad one. That's true. Yeah, and I mean pencils. I mean they are pretty thin, right? So you have to be okay with holding something that is that thin. So that also doesn't work for everyone.
I mean, I've got the Pelican P381. That thing's about the same diameter as a pencil.
Mm.
And it feels comfortable, but a pencil with the same diameter just does not feel comfortable.
Yeah, well, maybe that's a good thing. You don't really need to go exploring pencils as well.
There you go. Yvgenii does not explore pencils.
Shout out.
There you go. So let's swing back around the one thing here really quick, because you mentioned you really like pocket pens.
I really like pocket pens, but I only found 5 somehow. I don't know.
Okay. If you had to pick your most favorite and least favorite pocket pens, which would they be?
So the most favorite is probably the Kaweco Sport. I just like the design, and it's it's also very practical. How you don't there are pocket pens where you need to screw on the cap to make it long enough, and those are always a bit uncomfortable and takes a long time. But the Kaweco Sport, I like that best. I also like the design and all that. What I like the least. From the ones I tried, probably the Kaweco Lilliput, because it's so thin. I mean, that's even... Yeah, I don't know. In that case, it just didn't work for me. For you?
For me, I was going to say the Kaweco Sport was the favorite up until this week, but that Elite really changed my mind. I actually like the section on the Elite more than I do the Sport.
Yeah. I mean, I also have this Pilot Stargazer, which is probably borderline also still a pocket pen. but I haven't. I've inked it up once, so I don't know.
I think I had a Stargazer there for a while. It's a really good pen. You're right about that. I would actually put that on par with the Kaweco Sport. As for the worst one, the Opus 88 Fantasia.
Because of the basically missing section?
The missing section, and just for the fact that for a pocket pen, it was just too heavy.
Okay.
I mean, when you get it completely full of ink and you're writing with it, it's just too thick, too heavy, and it has no section.
Mm-hmm.
And it may be a horrible analogy, but it felt like I was trying to write with a bowling ball. I had no control over the pen, and you can see it in the video. I had no control over that pen. And if I'm going to have a pocket pen, I need to be able to pull it out and write on something really quick, have whatever I'm writing be legible because I can actually control the pen, and then put it back.
Mm.
And I just couldn't do it with that pen. Had a nice nib on it, but they wasted a good nib on a bad body.
Yeah, it's always, you never know until you try those pens. Yeah, now I'm looking at yet another pocket pen. This one is actually, I guess, the first one we mentioned, or I mentioned, that's from China.
Which one?
So this is the Moonman ATS Mini. Do you know a Parker 45?
Yes, thanks to you, I do now.
So imagine you chop off the back of a 45 so that basically you can fit in one cartridge.
Okay.
And then you have that pen. And that shorter uncapped, that is, a tiny bit shorter than an uncapped Kaweco Sport. And of course, you'll have to post it. Sort of a fun variation on that design they stole, basically.
There's one that I've always thought about trying, and that's the Stipula. Wow, the Stipula Passporto.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I've heard mixed reviews on the quality of those.
That's kind of why I've wanted to get my own hands on it, just to see if like the negative reviews were actually accurate. Or
so how many pens are you going to get to verify?
That one's very far down the list.
No, I mean, how many of that pen are you going to get to verify that the other negative reviews aren't true? Because I mean, this is always the issue with reviewing one pen and talking about the whole model, right?
That is true. I guess I could try to get like one from each of the vendors that actually carries one. That seems like a really expensive idea for a pen that I may not like.
Yeah.
Although I feel like I've had worse ideas before. Thank you for giving me something to think about.
Well, don't do it. Don't. Better spend the money on different pens.
I think for the price of one of those, I could get 10 decent Chinese pens.
I don't even know what it costs.
It's
not
find
that
out.
Expensive, right?
I have no idea. Stipula Sporto. Okay, cool. Thank you, Google, for knowing exactly what I wanted. Okay, it's $40.
I don't know.
So I could get either one really expensive Chinese fountain pen, 10 cheap fountain pens, or 2 medium-range pen BBS pens.
Mm-hmm.
For the price of one pen that I'm guaranteed to hate.
Yeah, maybe not the best plan.
Yeah, definitely not the best idea. I could always go back to a TWSBI.
That's true. Yeah, I also have a TWSBI Mini, but this is already, I think that's too big to be considered a pocket pen.
Same here. My Mini just felt way too big to be classified as a Mini.
I mean, compared to the 580, it is small, but that is already a big pen. 580.
Now, did you have the regular Mini or did you have the VAC Mini?
I had both. I sold the VAC Mini.
How's the vacuum on it?
I mean, it filled halfway or something. It was fine. I don't know. Yeah, I mean that pen is a bit bigger actually, and I don't know. Maybe it was the nib. It just wasn't. I don't know. Can't tell you really why I didn't like it that much. But yeah.
Well, you go get yourself some breakfast. I'm gonna ponder some Chinese fountain pens. And
wait.
What?
I inked up my Kaweco Student.
Did I skip over that?
You skipped over that. I mean, skipping over Chinese pens is fine. Skipping over...
I'm a horrible human being. What did you ink it up with?
Well, with my standard testing ink, so like the Confucius Rohrer and Klinger Verdigris. So this is actually the first bottle of ink I ever bought about 2 years ago. Still not empty, even though I buy so many pens. And well, I try to be, especially when you buy Chinese pens, you have to be careful and not mix new pens with new ink, because you never know how broken the Chinese pens are. So
Right.
So I started to use that one ink that I know how it works, and that it's fairly wet. And if it doesn't work, then it's the pen that's broken, basically. And as I've had bad experiences with Kaweco pens in the past, I tried that here too.
So how does it write?
It writes perfectly. I mean, you got an extra fine nib, which actually, surprisingly for Kaweco, it is actually extra fine. I've never had that happen before. Neither with Kaweco nor with Lamy have I ever had a real extra fine nib.
Yeah, I was about to say the 3 Kaweco Sports that I've had where they were extra fine. When I actually bought a medium pen from Lamy, they wrote exactly the same.
Yeah, maybe it is that change. Apparently, they changed from Bock to Jowo. Jowo can actually produce different sizes. I don't know.
I know in episode 4 I had some questions about like the section, how it felt in the hand. So how does it feel?
So it is a metal section. So when I go to work in the cold in the morning, the section is pretty cold then in the first hour or two at work. So that is a bit uncomfortable. But other than that, I mean, it has this hourglass shape. So it is, even if it gets a tiny bit slippery, you still don't end up with dirty fingers. So all in all, I really, really like it. Yeah.
So what you're saying is if I was going to get another Kaweco, that I should probably look into that.
Well, you could. Yeah.
I mean, not to put you on the spot or anything.
I mean, nib wise, it's of course, you're getting basically the same thing. You can probably, I mean, I assume it has the name, same nib and feed assembly, so you can probably switch. So you can put on your stub nib as well.
I do like a Kaweco stub nib.
Although maybe you should get a different color then, so that people don't complain of you putting a silver nib into a pen gold trim.
I still can't believe people are giving me a hard time for that. It's still a Kaweco nib. It's still the same company.
Yes.
Well, my friend, with that, I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye.